And then it cost me another $75 on that trip because Joe in the right seat was very talkative. And they had, in those days, AACS stations, which are ground stations where you reported so far, every so often, to let them know where your flight path was if you didn't get lost. So he's talking to all these girls down there, trying to make dates with them or something. So the old man says, "Who's in charge of the aircraft?" We were both captains. I said, "He is." Joe says, "I wasn't in the left seat. He's in charge." So it was decided, I guess, that I was in charge. So the old man says, "Okay, besides the buzzing job, that's going to cost you $75 for him. If you can get it out of him at the bar, that's fine. But it's $75. So I said, "Yeah." And another, you had more funny stories. Then Joe was on Smyrna with me. I don't know, we got a little loaded up one evening, and he gets a telegram that his wife and 2 children are due in Nashville from California to stay with him, to visit. And these guys said, "My God, he's in no shape to go to Nashville, let alone see his wife. So, you're in charge." I said, "Why am I in charge?" "Well, you're the captain, so you're in charge. You go in and get his wife and the 2 kids. We'll get him straightened out and set up the apartment and everything. Make sure you didn't take enough time." I go into Nashville, and I'm in uniform on the station, and here she comes out with an older man, and I don't recognize her. I didn't have anything that told me who it was. She got 2 kids with her, and this guy comes down and shakes my hand and says, "Whoa, Cap, terrific, nice kids you got here," and everything else. She had told him that he was meeting her husband. She's as aghast as he is, you know. So he was a politician or something in Tennessee. So he finally got through talking, and she said, "I would like to know what's going on. Where is my husband?" I said, "He's on duty." Naturally, he couldn't come off duty. He says, "I can believe that." Well, her husband believe it or not, her husband was a drama major in Louisiana State University, in the college. He could put on the best show of anybody I ever knew. So here we are, and I put her in the car with the kids, and she's as confused as I am. And we get back, and sure enough, the guys had done a good job. They got him sobered up and got the apartment full of food and everything else. But I said I never found out how they convinced, but Joe put on his best act I've ever seen. Hey, I was tied up all day and I'm repairing airplanes, and he got the biggest snow job I ever heard, and she must have bought it because they lived in Smyrna for quite a while before I got out. But they were a few of the funnies that were interesting. I got down where Smyrna. I was in charge of the flight line at that time. So Memphis was a big Navy base with all kinds of machines and gambling and all that stuff. So a bunch of us went down to Memphis one night, about 4 of us. And you heard me talk about Reagan. Reagan was up in administrative. So we spent the night down there in Memphis, and then we came back, and of course we roared open the field like mad. At 3 in the morning, woke everybody up. So the next morning, I get the word, "The old man wants to see you." So I go in, and here sitting on his desk is my hat. My hat blown off when I came across the field and put the canopy back. and it blew off, and he had it on his desk. He says, "You know what your name is, Ryan?" I said, "I'm afraid I do. I know what it was this morning." He says, "It reads the same as this one." What was the hell was all the noise about yesterday morning? And who told you could take 4 airplanes down to Memphis? Again, that's going to cost you another $50. No, Smyrna was not cheap.